Okay, so we're going to talk about exploring the iPhone App Store. And I just want to get an idea of what anybody, if anybody has any questions about that they've been wondering, they're hoping to get answered, and I can make a note of them and try and make sure we cover it if I know the answer. Does anybody have anything specific they were hoping to get covered today? Or because you'll come up with other questions, I know, but I just wanted to make sure I asked everybody before. Okay, so I'm going to be your tour guide. I kind of consider, doing Zoom classes about technology like going on a road trip. Is that we're going to a place. It's like going to a new city, and you don't know your way around, and you don't speak the language, and you trust the tour guide to help take you to the most important places and explain things to you. I think that's kind of a comparable analogy with technology, but if you don't think so, that's okay. I mean, but we want to make this something. I think technology should work for you instead of you having to work for your technology, and that's what I try and make all my sessions about. I'm going to share a few screen slides for you just to help you get started. And then we're going to share my screen on my iPhone as well. And it doesn't matter whether you have an iPhone or an iPad. The App Store works almost identically. It's just that there's a slight difference, and I'll explain that slight difference to you. Okay, so we're going to explore the iPhone App Store. This is the App Store icon right here. If I point to it like this and you can see it, that doesn't really highlight it very well. I'm going to draw a circle around it. That is the app icon on your screen that we're going to look for if you want to follow along as I go through things in the class, okay? And we're going to look at that and take a look at what's in the App Store. So a few things before we get started. And this is to help me remember to talk about them. At GetSetup, we're educators and a training organization. We might mention products. I'm going to mention some apps and other things like that. And we don't receive any money or compensation from any of the products or services that we mention, but we just mention them for the purpose of training. We talked about getting a copy of the recording by email. You're going to get an email after the session that includes some helpful links to Apple's App Store information. I do watch chat, and it's good Zoom etiquette to mute your microphone when you're not speaking. Microphones on phones, on computers and other things just pick up a lot of noise in the background sometimes, and that's one reason why we do it. But I'll pause for questions often. Okay, let me go one more slide here to cover the agenda. So this is what we're going to go through on the agenda. We're going to show you how to navigate the App Store, because there's more than 1 million apps available. So if you went into the average department store like a Target or whatever, they might have 30 or 40,000 products for sale in the store, and that's big, right? But there's 1 million apps on the App Store. So how do you find them? It's getting more and more difficult to do that. And we'll take a look and see how we find out if an app is free or paid or has something else, what's called like an in-app purchase. And then we'll take a look at how you can manage any subscriptions that you might sign up for or that you might have. So any questions so far? Kind of prompting anything to think about? Who's downloaded apps from the App Store already? You can raise your hand, or you can just use the little reaction button. Okay, so some of you have downloaded apps. Okay, it's really what makes your smartphone or your tablet much more powerful. Without the apps, it's basically a paperweight. I mean, computer hardware is made from silicone and copper and gold and glass and other things, and it's just a piece of hardware. It's the software that makes it work. And some applications are included with your iPhone, like the phone app, right? That's one. Gloria, you have your hand up for a question, or just say hi. Don't forget to unmute yourself. Are you on your phone? If you tap your phone,
Yes,
there you go.
yes. I don't know why I touched that. I was looking to see what you meant about reaction, and I
That's
didn't know what
okay.
that was.
That's okay. Oh, I can actually lower your hand on my end, see, like that. And if you have a question, raise your hand, okay? And
Uh,
that's great. Or you can wave. You're on an iPhone now, I think, right? Or an iPad?
yes. Should
Okay.
I stay on this or should I go on my iPad?
You can stay, well, if you want to navigate around the iPhone App Store while we
Yeah.
follow along, it might be worth it to join on your iPad as so that you can use your iPhone but you can go to the App Store on your iPad as well. So they
Okay.
both have the App Store. They both look very similar.
Okay. I'll stick with this. Thank you.
Yeah, it's better. I don't want to take a risk on you getting disconnected. So
Yeah, I'm pretty bad.
yeah, that can happen a lot. Okay. All right. So this is going to be a little tour. So that's our symbol. Let me change my sharing icon here and try and find out where my thing tools are on the screen. Okay. There we go. And let's see, I have to find one. There we go. I hid them behind myself. I have a big screen and sometimes I hide things on myself, which isn't always a good idea. So we're going to move some things around here so I can keep track of everybody. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing that and I'm going to start sharing. Yes, Margaret, yes, we are going to cover how to unsubscribe yourself from something. Yes, we will, because I get that question a lot from friends. And so today you're like, I'm going to give you the same, advice I give my friends when I teach them about technology. So I'm going to share my iPhone screen and it'll pop up here in a minute. And this is my home screen. I'm going to pull up a little drawing tool that lets me spotlight my mouse so you can see my mouse and a little red dot that moves over, because I can't show you what happens when I actually tap, on my screen with my finger. So I'm going to point with this little pointer. I do live in Seal Beach, California, and it really is 60 degrees outside right now. So I'm sorry about that, but this is my calendar. This is what we're doing today. This is my screen layout. Each of these little icons is an app, or I have apps and folders too. So when you look at your home screen and you tap on an app, it launches the app. It starts the app working. And that's how all the apps work. All the apps have little squares with rounded corners. They have a symbol to try and help you understand what the app is about. Like the music app has a note symbol, but it says the word music underneath it. And all apps are required to have that by Apple. Apple runs the App Store. It's owned by Apple. And when an app developer, a business or a person wants to make an app available in the App Store, they have to submit it to Apple for review. And if Apple approves it, and they check security and everything like that, if they approve it, then they list it for you to obtain it through the App Store. So Apple has checked everything out. What it's done is it's that way of doing apps has made the iPhone and the Android phones and more computers more and more secure. On Windows 10, there's an app store. On Apple Macs, there's an app store, but we got kind of used to the app store from iPhones. But every app you download has been checked out by Apple. So that's a good thing. But there are some apps that are included with your iPhone, like Safari, the web browser, an email app, a calendar app, a reminders app, a podcast. They actually include about 25 to 30 apps with your phone when you buy it. So it's really usable right out of the box for a lot of things you might want to use. But you can install other apps. Okay, so Apple has an app called Maps, but I downloaded and installed Google Maps because sometimes it works better for some things that I like to do with maps. I have a Notes app. I have a New York Times app that I downloaded and installed. I use WhatsApp every so often. and I have some fitness apps and social apps like Facebook and others. So I probably have more apps than a lot of other people do, but that's because I teach classes on iPhones and I just like to try things out. So that's where apps are now. It's possible to rearrange apps on your screen. I'm going to pick one app, say Photos, and I'm going to tap and hold it, which means I'm not going to let go. So I'm going to move it up here where you can see it. I'm going to tap and hold on to it. And you'll see that all the apps, a menu popped up and all the apps started jiggling. And that gives me the ability, if I click on it, if I take an app now and I drag it to the left, I can move it around for top or bottom, and I can move it around my screen. I can even move it to another screen if I want to. It's a little tricky to do because it wants to jump from one screen to another as opposed to being pushed. So if I drag, say, the App Store app towards the right, I want to do it slowly, and then all of a sudden it jumps over to another screen. And it'll shut off on its own. They'll stop jiggling, but you can see there's a minus button in a lot of these apps. The minus button actually lets me remove the app from my phone if I want to. So if you ever download an app and you want to get rid of it, you can do that. We'll do that with an app today. Right now I am done. I'm going to the upper right-hand corner, so I'm tapping done. And that blocks them so they don't jiggle anymore. So the tap and hold and lock are good things to know about if you want to rearrange apps. You can spend hours. It's great to do during TV commercials, because, when you want to rearrange your apps and do things. Of course, you got to pay attention when the show comes back on too. Okay. Any questions about rearranging apps, unlocking them, deleting them? Now, if you delete an app, fortunately, Apple just remembers what you did because they keep track of all of your downloads and purchases that you made from the App Store. So that if you bought an app and say paid for it, maybe it was $3.99, and then you delete it and you think, gee, I'd want to get that app back again. You don't have to pay for it again. Apple keeps track that you bought it and they let you download it again. And I'll show you on the App Store what that looks like. Okay, let's go take a look at the App Store. I'm going to tap on the App Store to launch it. And boy, that's a pretty picture. Okay, Pokemon Go. Okay, and what happens on this screen? Well, at the top of my screen, I see the time, I see my cellular and Wi-Fi signal, my battery, and it tells me it's Wednesday, February 17th, today. Okay, well, why did this screen pop up the way it did? Well, I have to go to the bottom. If I go all the way to the bottom, there is a button called Today. There's other buttons too. One button called Games. Games are really popular for apps, and so they have a whole a tab just for games. There's a button for apps, which is what we're going to look at a little bit more. There's Arcade, which is an Apple set of games that you pay a subscription for. And then there's a search button. Okay, so that's if I change these, if I tap on them, and we're gonna look at them a little bit more, but I want to tap on games. It changes the view on top and it says games on top. If I go to apps, it changes the view and it says apps. If I go to arcade, it changes the view and shows me arcade, and it's $4.99 a month if I want to use it. And then if I go to search, it brings up a search box, just like on my web browser. So these tabs help you navigate across the App Store. We'll go back to today because that's usually what comes up. Apple has a team of people on their staff that picks apps for every day, and they change. So tomorrow, if you go to the App Store, there'll be a different app. Okay, so this app is called Pokemon Go, and it has a big picture. and they explain, here's the app icon. That's what would be on your home screen. This is the name of the app. These are the people that make it. And it says Get. And underneath Get, it says in-app purchases in small type. Get means that the app is free to download. It doesn't cost you anything to actually download the app and start using it. However, when they say in-app purchases, it means that there are things that you can buy in the app or perhaps subscribe to in the app. Okay, so let's say you have an app that you want to buy some extra characters or something like that, or you want to have a drawing app and you want to get some additional colors or additional paintbrushes. Those sometimes are in-app purchases. Sometimes they're a subscription, but they will tell you that. Now, if we want to learn more about this app, we can just tap on the screen anywhere here, and it'll explain what the app is. And it gives us a lot of explanation. Okay, and it shows you pictures of the app. It shows you other things that are available, and we can click Get It if we want to. I can tap on Get, and what it's going to do is it's going to ask me to double click to install. So on my phone, I will actually press the power button twice. That's on the side here. Hey, I did it up backwards. It usually doesn't work, so I'm really happy about that. And it starts to download the app. Okay, whenever you see Get, or if you see a price and you tap it, now if it was an app that required me to pay for something, I would have to approve the purchase, and I pay Apple. So it's downloading right now, and I don't have to wait for it to download. I can go do other things. Once it's downloaded, there'll be a button that'll say open. Okay, so it says open, and I can open the app if I want to. I don't want to open it now. I want to close the screen. So I look in the corners. Looking in the corners of your screen is a really good tip for using iPhones and iPads. There's an X up here that will close this screen and take me back to my Today view. If I want to see, they have categories like now trending. They have an Apple Arcade. They feature a developer. They have a game of the day. They have an app of the day. They have categories of apps, essential work from home apps. So if you tap that, we get a list of apps that are here that we can use for things. Okay, so that there's meeting for Zoom. This is an app for helping you out with your meetings. And again, here's an X on the upper right-hand corner. So the Today view basically is a set of suggestions for you of apps that they think you might find useful. Sometimes they'll have a little video here that'll show you how the app plays or how it looks on screen. App developers can load up a video for that if they want to and show people what it's going to look like. They have home automation apps, time management, piano apps. I don't know what AFK Arena is, but stream cartoons, great games for quick breaks, photo layouts, Uno, streaming movies. And you can see there's a little slider on the right here. This little slider tells me how far down the list I am. And so eventually I'll hit the bottom and it'll stop. But this is just the Today view, okay? So it's just the Today view. A lot of stuff there, okay? And it changes every day. The idea is to get you to take a look at the App Store. One of the things on the top of the Today view is a little profile icon. Whenever you see an icon on a website or a piece of technology and it has like a person's face and shoulders, it's their profile. And so that means this is where you can go to manage your profile. If I tap that, it brings up my profile. Here's my profile. Here's what I purchased from the App Store. Now, Apple considers an app purchased whether you paid for it or whether it was free. They just consider it a purchase. So you might not have paid for the app, but they consider it a purchase. So if I want to see the history of things I purchased, here's all the things that it'll show me. I have to click on this again. And maybe there's Pokemon Go today, opened up, Google One. Here's a couple others that have a cloud. Well, that means that I purchased it or downloaded it once, but I do not have it on my phone. That's what the cloud symbol with the down arrow means. So if you see one of these things, it shows that you've got this. So if you've got open, it's there. If you've got open, it's on your phone. If you have a cloud, it means I purchased it, which, because I'm looking at all of my purchases, but it doesn't mean I necessarily paid anything for it. Could have been free, but it just considers it a download. I'm going to go back, look at the top. There's a back to go to all purchases, the arrow. And we're going to go back to my account. And underneath purchased is subscriptions. So again, I'm going to go back to the beginning of the App Store here. On the Today view or any other, there's this at the upper right, there's this profile icon. And if you tap that, it brings up your account, and then you can see your subscriptions. If I tap subscriptions, it will tell me, or you, what subscriptions you are subscribed to. They always promote Get Apple One. It's Apple's bundle, service. I have an active subscription to Apple Music. It's an individual annual one, and the next billing date will be October 8th, 2021. I have an Apple News subscription. It expires March 7th, 2021. I want to try it out for 30 days. I have Otter, which is voice meeting. It transcribes text. I have Apple TV, next billing date, February 25th. I have Nomo Robo. It's a robocall blocker. That's an annual subscription, expires July 6th. And then I have Office 365 that expires April 11th. Now, there's an arrow to the right of all of these. So if I wanted to manage my particular subscription, let's say Nomo Robo, I can tap on that and it brings up my subscription. I'm on the annual subscription. That's where the check mark is. It's $19.99 a year. If I ever want to cancel it, I can tap cancel. And it says, if you cancel now, you can still access your subscription until July 6th, 2021. I will tell you, it's if you paid for an annual subscription, you paid annually. It's rare that they prorate it. So if you're not sure about something and you want to try it out, try it on a month basis at first, and then you can switch over to annual. Just by tapping on the screen here, I can switch to a monthly subscription. It'll ask me to confirm if I want to double click, or I can cancel it if I want to stay on the annual. So I don't recommend buying an annual subscription unless you know you want to subscribe for a whole year to something, because the monthly is going to be a little more expensive. You do save money on the annual, but you if you're not sure, try it out for a month or two. Okay, so I can go back here. So any questions about managing subscriptions? Sierra.
Yes. One thing, if you go from month to month, you have to be sure if you don't want to keep it, you have to get out of it before the due date.
Yes.
They'll say we'll charge you.
They will charge you. Have you been charged by anything that you forgot to cancel? Yeah. You got to remember to cancel it because they will charge you on that anniversary date. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to take a sip of coffee here for a second. Go ahead, Emily.
Can you explain a little bit more about the bundle of Get Apple One?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that one more time, Emily?
The app for Get Apple One, the bundle
Oh, okay.
cover.
Sure. We're Apple One. Apple has a number of services. They have music, they have iCloud storage, they have Apple TV, they have the game service, arcade, and they say if you bundle all of them together, they have Apple News, and so if you bundle all of them together, you save money. That's what Apple One does.
There's no carrot on the right-hand side.
Right. So there's no carrot, and so if you just tap on it anywhere, if you just tap in
Let's
the
try
middle,
it on or something. Try it.
it'll explain it to you. Right. So when there's no carrot, you just tap on it,
Okay.
and it'll explain it. So
Bob, sorry.
Yeah.
But it says $14.95 a month.
right.
So is it worth to join them?
Well, it depends. If you use music, TV, arcade, and cloud, it might be. It's like figuring out a cell phone bill. Do you use all of these services or not? Right. So it's just a matter of I don't use Apple News. Apple TV is free for me because I bought a new Apple product and they give it to you for a year for free. I don't play games on arcade. So for me, it's not worth it yet. It might be someday. Okay.
Thank you.
It's a definitely a higher math calculation you have to do on these subscriptions sometimes. Okay, so I'm going back and I'm going to tap done, and I go back to my today view. Now, any questions about the today view and your profile? When you first make a purchase, if you have not entered a credit card with Apple yet, they will ask you to enter a credit card for using with the Apple Store. Okay, games. I don't use games a lot, but some people do. They have updates. And if you look close on this, you'll notice at the right where my little red dot is, I'm sliding it up and down. There's a little break here, and it looks like there's some text to the right here, doesn't it? So if I can swipe my finger from right to left, and I get another featured game here, and I can swipe it again from right to left. Sometimes you'll see a little bit of information to kind of let you know there's something there. So just because you see something on the screen doesn't mean too many cooks. That looks kind of interesting. Okay, so just because you see something at the edge, okay, you can go and swipe over here and try different things out. Now these are all games, right? These are all games. Okay, so if we scroll down a little bit, we'll say based on your last downloads. Apple's going to suggest things, kind of like Netflix suggests things. They're going to suggest things. And I can see these and I can scroll, from right to left and see more, or I can get a list and see all if I want to. And you'll see most of them are free. Here's one, Journey, $4.99. So to download that game, you would pay Apple $4.99. Okay, I can try this out. I can see what it looks like and explains the game. And it shows that it works on iPhone and iPad. And it'll give me reviews. It's an editor's choice. They tell you what privacy information they're going to use, and gives you an age rating. And if I decide, hey, I think I might want to buy that. Now, if I can go as far as I can tap on the price here, and it will ask me double click. It's only until I double click that I've paid. So right now I haven't paid. So if you change your mind, it wants a double click, not a single click, a double click. Okay, and that's to help ensure that you don't accidentally download it by tapping on something or pressing that. Pressing that button takes a little bit of pressure. But that's what purchasing a game would be like. Okay. So they have more games I might like. Try Apple Arcade, try it free. That's probably a subscription. You know, but there are all the Apple Arcades. Top free games. Here's a game that's ABC Runner. It's free, and there are no in-app purchases. I will tell you with my granddaughter that if you buy a game that has in-app purchases, they will probably play through the games really fast, and they will want the in-app purchases for that game, right? So be careful about downloading games for kids. Okay, so all type there's all these games. They've got popular games, board games, games you can play together. And then they have parents guide. They have explanations here about in-app purchases if you want to learn more. This is just on the games tab right here. Okay. So I can, if I leave the App Store, let's say I was looking at Journey here. I'm going to go back to looking at Journey. And I leave the App Store. I swipe up and I want to go to, this is Costco's ad for the day in email, right? And then I want to go back to the App Store icon. I'm going to close the App Store here for a second and show you what happens. Apps remember what you were last doing with them. So if I go back to the App Store, it pulls up games because that's the last thing I was looking at. It doesn't always pull up today. So if you don't see the today view, don't panic. Just take a look at the bottom of your screen and see which tab is selected, and it'll change the view for you. And at iPads, these might be on the top. I can't remember, but they do the same things. Search is good because search gives you the ability to type in the name of a game or an app or a story. They have some suggestions of things based on what's popular today. But say I wanted to find the app Nomo Robo, okay, because I read about it. There it is. I can just start typing and it has the suggestion here. And I can say, oh, here's Nomo Robo, robocall blocking. I tap on that and an ad appears at the top. The one thing they're doing in the App Store is they're letting apps advertise. This is a little ad icon. So even though I search for Nomo Robo, Robo Killer popped up first. Now there's Get. It's free to download, but I might have to pay a subscription fee or a fee to use it. But here's my Nomo Robo call. It says open because I have it installed on my phone. And those are, different. Now here's an AT&T call protect. Sometimes your cellular provider might be offering you a free service. I used to have AT&T and I can download this if I wanted to, if I ever go back to AT&T. This cloud shows me that I had downloaded it once and I can download it again. Everybody loves robocalls, right? So it's one of the things that and actually it helps pretty well. It really helps quite a bit. Okay, so I'm going to cancel this. That's what you can do with search. Okay. Now, any questions? Let me take a pause, have a sip of coffee, and see if people have questions about understanding a little bit more of the App Store.
Bob, I have a question. Sometimes when you are looking at a set of games, it says get in-app purchases, but it's actually free. How do you differentiate without opening the game?
Okay, let's try this. Let's take a look at this agar.io.
What is the IO, by the way?
Well, instead of, because there's so many websites that use .com, .io is becoming popular for a domain name is all it is.
Oh, it doesn't really mean anything. Okay.
It probably does, but I haven't looked it up yet.
Okay.
It's probably a country's, maybe it could be Ireland, it could be Indonesia,
Oh.
I don't know. But it just is used by a lot of people. So here's agar, and it says get, and it says in-app purchases. Okay, so I want to find out what they mean by in-app purchases, right? That's what we want to find out, Carol?
Yep.
Okay, let's scroll down, or up rather, and we'll take a look until we find information. And in the information section about the app, it tells us a little bit about the app. And then it says in-app purchases, yes. And if I click on that little down arrow, it explains what the in-app purchases are. And I have no idea what a stack of coins is, but obviously it's something you probably have to buy. If you don't earn them, you can buy them. You know, it's like with the Angry Birds. If you needed to knock down the pig's structure, you could buy an eagle for 99 cents, and the eagle would fly in and knock down everything in the pigs. But these are different options that you can buy as you play the game that they make available. So the game's free to play, but if you want to buy more coins, obviously to increase your play and make it faster or easier, you can do that.
So I assume that if you ran out of coins and purchased more, you'd have to pay that $1.99 every time?
Yes, that's a very good assumption. It's not an on. I don't know what the 7-day subscription does for you, but in the app, they will typically explain those things for you when you look at it.
What about that game where you could buy the hawk that came and knocked everything down? Would you permanently have that, or just
No,
have to buy it every time you need it?
You pay 99 cents each time you want an eagle, right?
Okay.
Right. And just like this, if you want a stack of coins, you pay $1.99 every time you wanted to buy a stack. And it's kind of like, I don't remember if if you have, I don't know if you have a Costco in your area, but if you've ever been into a Costco before COVID, at lunchtime, you could basically feed yourself by getting samples of food, right? And college students and teenagers would do that lots of times. But the idea of giving you a game that's free to download is kind of like a free sample. They give you an idea of what it's like, and you can do some things with it. But if you want to do everything with it, you might start making in-app purchases. And so there's no risk to you to just try the game out, see if you like it or not, or if you like an app out, if it says get, and you can say, well, I don't like it, and I'm not going to purchase the additional items here. Okay, so let me show you the secret way to navigate the App Store that I find is my favorite. Unfortunately, Apple doesn't like it as much as I do, but I like it a lot, and I think it makes a lot of sense. In the Apps tab, these are tabs at the bottom. In the Apps tab, they basically list a whole bunch of apps. If you're new to iPhone, they have some suggestions for you. You can see I've got a lot of these apps here, so it says open. Here's Procreate Pocket that says download, it remembers it. Here's Touch Retouch that says open. So they have top paid apps. So I paid for this. I can't remember what I paid, but I don't have to pay again for it. I can just download it and it will reinstall on my phone. But I took it off because I didn't really use it that much. And you can see there's apps to the right. If I swipe with my finger from right to left, there's more to look at, lots of different things.
What determines whether the app is up in the cloud or on your phone as an icon?
The App Store always keeps the app in the cloud. It's just that if you have it on your phone, in addition to that, it will say open. If you just have it in the cloud, it will just show a cloud icon.
Who determines whether it's in the cloud or not? You?
No, Apple. Apple keeps all your apps for you free of charge in the cloud. So if you ever switch over from one iPhone and upgrade to another, your Apple ID, your email address you registered with Apple, keeps track of all of your history of apps. And it will, it doesn't change whether you move from one phone to another.
So if you have an app that doesn't have an icon on your phone and it's up in the cloud, you might forget that you had it, right?
Well, you might, but if you go to look for it, remember on our profile here, we can see that we've purchased a whole bunch of apps. Okay, and so these are all the ones that I purchased. So this is a cloud app that you can use. This is a cloud. It just means Apple's keeping it for me in the cloud. I can download it and put it on my phone anytime.
But then it goes back up to the cloud when you're done.
It stays on your phone, and it's always available to you. It's in two places. It's both in the cloud and on your phone. Because it's like Apple has a warehouse in the cloud where they keep all the apps, and they keep them there permanently. It's just that you're actually making a copy of it to put on your phone.
So you could have an app that's in the cloud, but not have a picture of an icon of it on your phone.
If you purchased an app like Yeah Bunny, it's not on my phone. You won't find, if you look through my phone, you won't find this icon on my
Okay.
phone. But
So you have to remember that you have it.
right. So but if you go to purchase it, like say if I go to search for Yeah Bunny here, it remembers that I downloaded, that I already purchased it. It gives me the cloud icon, and I just have to reinstall it on my phone. It remembers what I had at any time I installed it. So it won't forget. You might forget, but Apple won't forget. And to use the app, you have to have it on your phone. But if you just don't need it on your phone, you can take it off if you want to, or you can leave it there. It doesn't really matter. It just depends on whether it's causing inconvenience for you or not. Okay, the apps icon here in the middle. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, almost all the way to the bottom, there is something called top categories. I love categories, and I wish they didn't put it here. So categories is in apps, and it's at the bottom. It's called top categories. And they list a few of them here, but this button, see all, opens up the whole list of categories that Apple has listed. All apps that are in the App Store have to say, when they submit them to Apple, they have to say, hey, I am a finance app, or I am a health and fitness app, or I am a magazine, or I'm a medical, or I'm a business app. They have to tell Apple what kind of app they are. And so Apple basically has this list of categories, and they say, okay, let's pick up, maybe 50 to 100 really good apps in health and fitness and see what they are. And so you can go by category, and they will list, several apps. There's a free trial. That's a subscription, obviously. You can see Strava, run, ride, swim, track your workouts. Active #1 audio fitness app. Okay. And smart gym and home workouts. And you can see there's a whole bunch of others down here as well if I scroll up. But so if you're looking for apps on a particular category, and it says at the top here, I'm in health and fitness, and then I can go back to categories. So let's say I was looking for books. I wanted to see book apps. Apple will list a couple of them. You know, there's a book summary app. There's Bookly, you can track your reading habits. Wattpad, Libby is where you can get ebooks from your local library. All local libraries have electronic lending tools where you can borrow books from your library. And then they have a whole bunch of other things here. So they have top free. Now Audible, for example, is free, but if you want to download an Audible audiobook, you have to buy it. You can put Amazon Kindle, the app, on your phone. They have top paid here, so that you can see all types of apps that are books that you can buy or players. And then they have top free, but a lot of these have in-app purchases that are available too. But I like the categories because it's kind of if you're looking for an entertainment app, if you're looking for a reading app, if you're looking for a finance app, if you're looking for something for health and fitness, or medical, or music, or news, or shopping, or travel, or weather, they're all out there. I wonder what's under weather. I wonder if they've done anything because of your local weather forecast, AccuWeather, dark sky, storm alerts around you, visualize the day forecast, and then Carrot Weather, get the forecast, because Apple comes with a weather app built in, but it's just basic. So if you wanted something more like weather, when I lived in Atlanta for a while, I wanted a rain alert because it rained a lot more than what I was used to. So I like knowing whether it was going to rain in the next half hour or something. So if I was going to take my dog for a walk or go for a bike ride, it was convenient. So there's the categories are great because they give you the ability to sort through by topic, and you may find something that's interesting on there as well. Okay, so let's kind of review a little bit about the App Store. We've looked at Today, Games, the Apps tab, Arcade. You have to purchase a subscription to Arcade. That's why they have it featured prominently. And then Search. You can search for any app. You can search by category too. So if you wanted to find something for, say, food delivery, you can do a search and you'll get the ones that you probably have heard about: DoorDash, Grubhub, Postmates, Uber Eats, so a lot of them are out there. So that's search. And then obviously your profile is where you can manage your subscription and keep track of things. Okay, so what questions do people have about the App Store? I mean, some of you downloaded apps. I mean, if you want to know apps I use every day, I mean, I use the Reminders app that came with Apple. I use Notes a lot. I use the calendar. I use email. But if you use, say, Gmail, for example, you can, or if you're a big Gmail user, you can actually download the Gmail app from Google and use your Gmail app if you want to. So Apple really just has so many apps that can become overwhelming, but they're all there. They're great options for you to consider. So what kind of apps have people downloaded that they think other people might want to know about? Anybody downloaded some good apps? Emily, go ahead.
Bob, do you think Apple have a app for counting the blood pressure?
For counting what? I'm sorry?
The blood pressure.
Blood pressure.
I know the heartbeat, they do have it automatic in the device.
There are apps. Let's do a search, okay?
I look at the health app.
Well, I'm just going to do something on blood pressure, okay? Blood pressure app. Okay, so there's a couple. One Drop for diabetes and heart health, Smart BP, blood pressure, and electrocardiogram tracer. So might have to have an Apple Watch, for
Yes,
that,
I do.
right?
I
But
do.
it looks like they do have
But my Apple Watch maybe is too old on the generation. Maybe
yeah.
one they have it.
Well, let's check. If I look at this app, it'll explain maybe a little bit more about what it does. If we read here, okay, it's a blood pressure app, and it'll tell us that it works with your Apple Watch. It says check compatibility requirements. Okay. What are the compatibility requirements? It'll tell you what model of app it'll work with at some point. Details, information, compatibility. Okay, so it says works on this phone. It requires Watch OS 4.0 or later. And so it might, depend. I'm not sure what watch models it works with, but you can go to the developer website here, and that'll take you to the website of the developer, and lots of times they have a way for you to communicate
Okay.
with them on that.
I have the iWatch is 4.0 device, but I don't have the blood pressure count.
Yeah, I don't know what model of watch.
What model
says
that makes the difference? Okay.
Mhm.
Do you think the Apple Store still open to purchase a product from them from the?
Oh yeah, Apple actually has a store app. Let me find my shopping here. Where'd it go? There it is. Apple has a store app. Where is it? That you can use to buy things from the Apple Store. And they'll give you 2-hour delivery in most places.
Okay.
But some stores a lot of the stores are closed. But they'll, you can shop for, different products, and you can even call Apple if you want to. If you want to shop by Apple Watch, you can do that. So the current model is the Series 6. I think that's the one that has the electrocardiogram feature and some other things in it.
Okay.
Costco also sells Apple Watches as well, and they're open.
Thank you.
Sure. Anybody else looking for an app that they're trying to find? Okay, remember the App Store, your device really depends on how well you make use of it with all your apps. Trying out apps is easy. You can always delete them by tapping and holding, and trying them out. But just keep in mind that, a lot of apps are free to download with the Get, but they might have an in-app purchase that you might need to be aware of when you look at them.
Bob, I'm paying, I think, $9.99 a month for Apple Music.
Yeah.
Would that be part of that Apple bundle?
If I don't know exactly Apple's pricing on the Apple One bundle, but I believe it includes music. I pay for music annually, I think. I'm not sure if it's $100 a year or something, but the bundle, I'm not sure what the bundle includes in addition to music. So it's more a matter of if you get Apple Music, say, and Apple TV, then the bundle might worth it. But if you're not getting any other service as part, from Apple, then the bundle may not make sense for you.
I think you get a whole lot more music if you have Apple Music. You have access to more music.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether the Apple Music bundle gives you, as part of Apple One, it gives you access to everything or not. Let me check under subscriptions here and see, because it was under there. Let me share my screen for a second here. and I'll show you. So if it says Apple Music, I have an Apple Music subscription. It's annual. Let's see what that costs. It's $99 a year. Okay, an individual is $9.99
Yeah.
a month. Now, if I go back to Get Apple One, what is the plan? Okay, so the individual plan is free, 1 month free, then it's $14.95 a month. It does include music and Apple TV and arcade and some cloud space. I think they give you like 200 megabytes of cloud space. So I get Apple TV credit because I bought a new Apple device for a year, but at some point it might make sense for me to get a bundle.
Is Apple TV good to have?
It
Can you get
depends
a
on,
lot of channels?
well, Apple TV is both a piece of hardware and a service. So Apple TV has original shows that they put on, just like HBO and Netflix. So if there's a show you want to watch on Apple TV that's part of their subscription, then it would be worth it. But if there's not, if you got enough to watch as it is, that extra $5 a month may not be worth it for you.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Okay, so hopefully you feel a little more confident about the App Store now and using it and finding your way around and taking a chance on downloading an app and understanding whether you're going to pay for it or not, or it's free. So try some apps out. I find that talking to people about what they have for favorite apps is a good way to learn a lot about apps as well. So talk to friends and family members about what apps they like too, and they'll be good sources of recommendations because, like I say, there's over 1 million now, and there's got to be an app for something that will help you out. Okay. Don't forget, you can request a recording by sending an email to help@getsetup.io. You'll get a follow-up email that'll include a link to Apple's App Store help site and some other information for you as well. Okay. So thank you all for coming this morning, this afternoon for some
Thank
of you,
you.
and stay
Thank
safe.
you.
And
Enjoy the sunshine.
hopefully you'll get warmer. Okay,
We're
wherever you
freezing.
are. All right. Bye
Thank
bye.
you, Bob.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.